Words of mental health, I mean, I'm not too sure where we're going to head with it. I think there's a lot of studies saying, what is it? What is it? I mean, I think, like I've said before, mental health has been around for many eons, okay? The Greeks have dealt with it, the Egyptians have dealt with it. It's always been around. I think in the past 10 years now, we're starting to really talk about it, knowing full well how powerful the mind really is. Learning that, it's based on many different factors. I don't believe it is what it is. I think it's more your purpose with it. And I think changing that paradigm of, okay, what is my purpose? This is what I'm going through. What is it? And I honestly believe that's personal and subjective. There's a lot of different levels, and there's a lot of different ways of how to tackle your own mental health. I kind of believe it's many factors. I think there's an unbelievable amount of factors that go into mental health. I don't believe there's always one answer. For a dynamic life that you live, you cannot always look for static answers. And I think that once you learn how to really accept that into your life, you actually learn how to become more mentally healthy. And I think that that's just a part of the journey itself. So for me, believe depression has purpose for you. I think that having that opinion changes the way you think of yourself. So if you say, okay, well, what is my purpose of having this? What has been my issue? If I've transitioned into a new chapter, what values am I not, holding on to that aren't serving me anymore? That could be it. What is the soul really asking for? That could be it. Because we know that sometimes in depression, it can actually be the soul turning into itself saying, okay, I need to transform somehow. And a lot of people don't actually understand the mind serves the soul. So what is it that the soul's really asking of you? And having that kind of thought can actually take you on a really great journey. It can really start a great journey for you. Don't get me wrong, you will have your tough times with it. I am not lying to you. Yeah, you will have your dark times with it. Everybody knows of the darkness, they just don't talk about it. Okay, you will go through that 100%. You can't avoid it. And I 100% agree with that. Yeah, everybody faces it. Everyone. Okay, so just learning that mental health is actually a part of the journey as well. And I think everybody's journey is different. Learning everybody's story is great. Learning that there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's always good to kind of have that in the back of the mind. It's always really good to really learn not to judge yourself too harshly. I think there's still that shame-based society that we live in. Um, the journey of mental health is really hard. It is really hard to watch people go through it, especially if you know that you've had or know someone that goes through it. It is really a personal journey, and you can't help someone that doesn't want it. And I believe sometimes that the house has to become messier and before it becomes clean. And I really do understand that. So sometimes things have to get worse off with people before they get better. And that's the hardest part, because you don't want that for them. But there's critical learnings and lessons in that saying that need to happen. And mental health is really quite a tough topic of conversation. I do really believe in that. But I do believe that it would serve you some sort of purpose in learning how to grow yourself and learning how to have an inner world that works for you. Learning how to really define what meaning of, the meaning of life to you. Yeah, because how I see life is how different to how other people see life. So you have to find that within yourself. And I think that, that is very personal and subjective. So just really remember that mental health is a part of it as well. And this blog is about mental health. Transition is about mental health. Mentally going out and getting what I want, breaking barriers. This is what mental health is all about. So don't always feel ashamed by it. I think that once people realize, oh, I've got a purpose with it, and what is my purpose? Because sometimes a lot of people don't know their purpose, but you could actually use it to your benefit, no matter where you're at with it, when you are ready. Yeah, that's the most important part. And I think that, it's learning how to actually develop that purpose, learn how to self-talk yourself into knowing that, okay, if I have this, what is it that it's serving me purpose for, and what files in the mind do I have to go back into? What aspects do I look at it? Do I look at in terms of the psyche, which is another name for the soul itself, the heart? All of it's the same. So sometimes people get confused. It's like, okay, there's another name for the soul, there's another name for the psyche. Which is the soul? The soul is the heart. It is all the same. And we all know that in wisdom will always, 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 always unite. It will always unite people. Knowledge always divides. Yeah, the more, like, knowledge is great, because ignorance is not bliss. I really stand by that. I know a lot of my people say that ignorance is bliss, Ash, get around it, and I say no, it's not. Knowledge is really important, but so is wisdom. So you need to know how to have that good balance. We'll go through that later on, but just learning that is great as well. So mental health is a big topic of conversation, and where we hit it could be anything for you. Yeah, just remember that. So if you know someone that's suffering from mental health as well, and so are you need to understand, well, they're different to me, and that's fine, right? You need to find your way with it. And learning how to, take responsibility, learning self-awareness, that's all a part of mental health, and learning how to have a good balance with all of it, which does take a lot of time. So that's just my introduction on mental health. And it's good to start talking about it in a way where it gives you kind of a bit of hope. I think that we have to start changing the paradigm, and starting to change how we think of mental health. So just remember that. Remember that it is serving you some sort of purpose, whatever purpose it is for you.